You know, it's amazing how sometimes the most profound stories can be found in the most ordinary of places, like, say, a common garden plant. Today, we're going to look at a shrub that tells a pretty incredible story, all about beauty, strength, and this quiet kind of endurance. So let's get into it. So here it is. This is the Purple Daydream Loropetalum. And yeah, at first glance, you might just think, wow, that's a really pretty plant. A great addition to any garden for sure. But what if I told you this simple shrub has a lot to teach us, specifically about a kind of strength that, well, it doesn't shout, it whispers. I mean, just look at it. It's kind of whimsical, right? It almost looks like something straight out of a watercolor painting with that deep plum-colored foliage. But here's the thing. That dreamy look, it's hiding a secret, a really powerful one. This plant has this incredible resilience, this quiet strength that you'd never guess just by looking at it. And you know where the story really starts? In its name. It's funny how often that happens in nature, right? The name itself gives you clues about its true character. So let's do a little decoding. Okay, so the first part of its fancy scientific name, Loropetalum, comes from the Greek word loron, and loron means strap or fringe. Just kind of tuck that little image away in your mind for a second. The second part, that's petalon. You can probably guess this one. It's the Greek word for petal. See? Pretty straightforward. So you put them together, loron and petalon, and what do you get? Strap-petaled flower. And that name is just perfect because it totally describes those unique ribbon-like blossoms. The name literally tells you what you're looking at. But then there's its common name, Purple Daydream, and that adds this whole other beautiful layer. The color purple, well, for centuries, it's been linked with things like royalty, dignity, even spiritual depth. And daydream, that just makes you think of quiet moments, right? Of reflection. So the whole name, Purple Daydream, is almost like a little invitation to just stop for a second and think. And all of this brings us to what's really at the heart of this plant story. It's this incredible paradox. It's literally a living, breathing example of how real strength can be hiding right under the surface of something that looks soft and delicate. So let's break that down. On one hand, you have its appearance. Everything about it seems fragile. Those delicate, fringe-like flowers, the soft plum leaves, that whole dreamy vibe. But then, you look at what it's actually like. This thing is tough. It's drought-tolerant, it's pest-resistant, and it's super adaptable. The total opposite of what you'd expect. You know, this whole idea of fragility on the outside and durability on the inside, it really echoes a powerful spiritual truth. There's this idea in scripture that real, true strength is often made perfect in what looks like weakness. It's that quiet power in things that seem gentle. So if we look closer, it's like every single part of this plant has something to teach us. It's almost like we're learning to read its language, you know? One little detail at a time. Think about most flowering plants. They have their moment, right? They're amazing for a few weeks, and then it's over. But the Loropetalum is different. Its beauty isn't just in the flowers, it's in those leaves. That deep plum color is there all year round, through every single season. It's this quiet reminder that real, lasting beauty isn't about just one short season of blooming. It comes from something deeper, something constant. Okay, now check this out. Let's talk about its size. It usually only grows about 1 to 2 feet tall. That's it. It's not a plant that's trying to tower over everything else in the garden. But it spreads wide, like 3 to 4 feet wide. And this way it grows, outward, not upward, is such a perfect picture of a certain kind of influence. It's not about being the biggest or the loudest. It's about quietly, gently expanding and filling the space around it. And just look at those blooms again. They're not these big, heavy, dramatic flowers. They're like little clusters of delicate, dancing threads, almost like tiny, quiet fireworks. And those little threads, man, they're such a powerful symbol. They're a reminder that grace, it doesn't always show up as this one big, dramatic, overwhelming thing. More often, it's in the small stuff. These tiny moments woven through our everyday lives. A kind word, a moment of peace. Each one might seem like just a single thread, but when you put them all together, they create something truly beautiful. Okay, here's another amazing thing about this plant. What happens when you prune it, when you cut it back? You might think that would damage it, but it's the total opposite. It actually responds with more growth. It comes back fuller and stronger. And
That points to a really profound spiritual idea.
It's this idea you see in the book of John, that when a branch is fruitful, it gets pruned. Not as a punishment, not at all, but so it can bear even more fruit. The whole point of the pruning is to prepare it for a greater, more abundant life. So let's pull all these threads together. You've got this quiet strength, this gentle, spreading influence, these little threads of grace. When you see it all at once, the plant itself becomes this living invitation, an invitation to just be still. Everything about it, that soft look, the deep, rich color, the way it grows low and wide, it all works together to create this atmosphere of just quiet beauty. This is not a plant that's yelling, "Look at me." It's whispering, "Hey, slow down. Just be here for a minute." And maybe that's the biggest lesson of all. The Purple Daydream is like this gentle teacher. It shows us that a life that's truly vibrant, truly alive, isn't about just a few flashy moments of brilliance. No, it's about having a steady, constant connection to the source of life itself. So, if a simple little shrub in a garden can hold a story this deep, it makes you wonder, right? What else is out there in your world? Where is there some quiet beauty whispering a profound truth, just waiting for you to notice?